Hi, I'm Sally with SallyCares, and today I just want to talk to you a little bit about what it means to have an interdisciplinary rehab team. That just means that it's usually physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, but we have to include nursing. We have to include probably the pulmonary technicians, we have the respiratory therapists, and there's a lot of different people. But specifically what I thought would be easy for you to get is if we looked at someone maybe that's had a stroke. That people can mostly relate to, and what different expectations you should have from the different rehabilitation services that you become acquainted with, whether it's in the hospital or whether it's at home through home health. So let's just say with physical therapy, physical therapists are tuned into primarily walking, and that another word for that is gait, but primarily walking, movement, trunk movement, your abdominals, moving, getting out of bed, sitting on the side of the bed, coming to a stand. You'll see a lot of that in the hospital if someone's had a stroke. That seems to be their primary focus. When it comes to occupational therapy, we're looking at how can the person transfer, that means move from point A to point B, from the bed to the bedside commode, from the bed to actually stand at a walker if they can do that, or from the bed to the wheelchair. And sometimes that's all you can do after you've had a stroke. It starts out on that level and that's it. Speech therapists will come in and they'll focus primarily on swallowing. And the swallowing takes on all different kinds of issues, but sometimes it's so frustrating for family members because they want their loved one to be able to drink, or they want their loved one to be able to eat, and they're finding that the person can't coordinate the actual swallowing skill, so they usually do a swallow study. And that is done in radiology, and that is usually done by the speech pathologist with the radiologist there. And that's where they literally test and film where someone is given different types of things to swallow at different thicknesses. So it would be thin liquids is at the very top of the chain, so it'd be thicker things, puree, and I'm not going to steal it from a speech pathologist because I need to have somebody that I know plenty of them, but I'm going to have one in particular that's a good friend of mine actually go through this with you, because then you can hear it from the horse's mouth, because I don't want to act like I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, it's levels of capability, and that's the assessment. So they can actually do the fluoroscopy where they see how that is introduced and what happens to the swallowing mechanism as it goes down the throat into hopefully not the lungs, because that's called aspiration, and that's when you run into all kinds of problems. But that's why a swallow study is done, to make sure someone can swallow effectively before they actually go into an ability to eat. With occupational therapy though, since that's me, I'm an occupational therapist, I want you to know that we focus primarily on those things that help people feel like they can do for themselves, so they can be more independent. So whether or not they can feed themselves, literally drink, those are the things that can. Speech and OT work very close together in those areas. But we also are looking at how is a person handling their emotional process, what's going on with them emotionally, and how are they able to communicate, are they not able to communicate. Sometimes a stroke that affects the right side of the brain it's different. That in turn challenges the left side. The left side of the brain challenges the right side. When you see someone with right-sided weakness, many times their speech is affected, because that is part of that side of the brain. So there's lots of issues related to how do we communicate with this person. Many times they understand exactly what you're saying, but they can't communicate back. So you want to have communication boards. There is such a thing where there are pictures where they can point to a picture of what they want to drink, what they want to do, if they want the TV, if they want the remote. There's many ways you can establish communication skills without having to talk. And those are the things that need to be brought into a situation early on to give these people hope, to give them a way to feel that they're not being ignored, and to help the family understand what the person, their loved one, is needing to try to help them understand what the frustration is. And everybody's different. You know, what can I tell you? Everybody's different. Everybody has something that motivates them. Everybody has something that depresses them. Everybody has something that you can use to motivate them into wanting to do more. You will find that people become extremely depressed when things like this happen. You could have a person fall and fracture their hip and already be weak and disabled, and that's just their final, I've had it, I don't want to do anymore. So then it comes down to, what is it that's going to motivate this person to want to be the best they can be? And that should be the occupational therapist's main area of interest, because from that, the person has all the desire to move forward. So, based on that, I hope I haven't bored you. Like this and subscribe, and we'll keep going. We'll share this information, and I'll just keep talking about all kinds of different stuff, and you'll say, does this woman ever shut up? And the answer to that is no. And you can hear that probably from my patients, who I will probably down the road bring some of them in, but I'm sort of scared because I never know what they'll say. See you next time. Bye.